Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh Sangat Ji. Thank you so much for joining us today and being on time. So before we begin, let's just get together, put your hands together and do one more job to ask Agya and blessing from Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. So if you can put your hands together. Ek oankar Satnam Karta Purakha Nirpau Nirvair Akal Murata Ajuni Sapang Gur Prasad Japa Ad Sacha Jogad Sacha Happy Sacha Nanak Hosi Pi Sacha. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. So with Guru Sahib's Kirpa, we have now reached our fourth workshop, our fourth session from the Panj Sanskaar series, which is now today we are covering the Antim Sanksaar, or the death ceremony for a Sikh. So if we look at maut, death, it comes to all. Everybody will go through death. In our previous course, Ananda Karaj, we spoke about 3 types of marriages that each Sikh will or might not go through, but one everybody goes through, and that is marriage to death. Sabna marana aya vichoda sabna, jo aya so chalisi sab koi ai vari. Jera ondaya, whoever beings comes into this world will have to leave. So everything in this world is temporary. This is a fact that we have to accept. So now the question is, when we speak about death, we speak about maut. The question comes, Kidi maut? What death? Who dies? When we say that someone dies, what does it mean that who dies? So the body doesn't die because it's made up of Panj Tattva. Panj Tattva ko tana rachiyo, Gurbani says. The 5 elements, which is fire, earth, water, air, and space. The body is made up of these 5 elements. So the body doesn't die because when we burn the body and so on, the elements go back to where it comes from. The air goes into the air, the earth, mitti goes into the mitti, and so on. The blood, the water, it just dries up and goes into the water element. Then the Atma doesn't die because Atma is a form of Paramatma. Atma and Paramatma is one. When we say we die, the Atma just goes back to Paramatma. So the question is then, who dies? Or what leaves this world? The answer is our Sukkham Sarir, which is our second body. So if we imagine, Hana, what we see with our physical eyes, you can see me, this is my Sathul Sarir, my physical body, which you can see with your physical eyes because it's made up of the 5 elements. Now, this is the body that goes back into the Panch Tattva. Then within this body, which is the engine that drives this body, it's the Atma. Once Atma leaves this body, then there is no life anymore. Now, that Atma doesn't die as well. So the second body is called the Sukkham Sarir. Sukkham Sarir, the subtle body, which is made up of your mind, which is made up of your senses, your 5 sensory, your senses, your Gyan Indriya, your Karam Indriya means your sight, your smell, your taste, your hearing, your touch, all these senses. What happens is in this life, when we do our Karam or whatever we do, everything gets recorded. So everything gets recorded. Imagine that there's a portion in the mind, which is a camera that records everything, all our karam, our action, our thoughts, our words. Now, when we die, this body, the Sukkham Sarir, is the one that goes and gives Lekha Jokha to Dharamaraj. And then it is decided based on our karam, which means that imagine now the camera that recorded everything, the mind that recorded everything now is going to play back our whole life scene in front of us. Now, what we have done, what karams we have done, will decide then what janam or where we will go next, which janam we will go into next. So this is something that we need to understand, which is why Gurbani stresses a lot that apne man nu kabu karo, control your mind, control your senses, your eyes, your mouth, your ears, control your senses, because why? These are the things that are going to determine how you get treated by Jamdut. Where do you go? Do you go to Sachkhand? Do you go to heaven, hell, whatever, or what janam you will take? Okay, so I hope we cleared that on who dies. Now, what happens now when we die? Matlab jado sukham sarir hona, now the atma has left this body, what happens? So this was a question a Gursikh asked Sant Baba Ishar Singh Ji. Now you can hear this podcast on our Boss TV channel, where a conversation, experiences with Sant Baba Ishar Singh Ji. In there, the Gursikh, he himself is telling that I asked Sant Baba Ishar Singh Ji this question, that what happens when we die, when a person dies? And Sant Ji says, if a normal person dies, when a normal person, I mean that someone who doesn't practice Sikhi, who doesn't keep case, or just a normal being, when that person dies, about to die at his dying deathbed, or whatever it is in any situation, Jamdut will come and take that person. When the Atma goes away, now the Jamdut is taking the Sukham Sari. Now the Sukham Sari, the makeup of it is almost similar to our physical body, the shape and so on, but it's just that you cannot touch it, you cannot feel it, you cannot see it with your physical eyes. So Jamdut then takes this person and from this world travels all the way to Dharamraj Kachhadi. So now even in Gurbani as well, Dharamraj jab lekha mange kya mukh leke jayega. So there is this concept of Dharamraj who is going to judge and see all our karams that we have done in this world. Now what happens is, Santaji says that this Jamdut, what they do is they will torture this person, these people, they'll torture them, they'll beat them, they'll drag them, they'll pull them. Even Gurbani says as well, right? That Jam kankar ner na aya. So when we read Soila Sahib di Bani Rakhya de Sabda, then Jam lajaye kar paga. So there is this words of Jamdut, means what they do is their job is to torture these people and bring them to Dharamraj. So Santaji says that the journey could even take, normally it takes like few days, it could take a second, it could take days, months and years. Now, of course, for normal people or papi bande and all, it will take a longer period, means you will be suffering for a very long time. Then they ask, what about an Amritari Gursikh? So someone who is a Gursikh, who follows the Guru's bachan, who has taken Amrit, Santaji says that these Gursikhs have no business with Jamduts or Dharamraj, no business with them. So even when we say Jam lajai karpaga, Jamduts, they are ashamed. When they see Gursikhs, they get scared of these Gursikhs and they run away. So who takes them is Shaheed Singh themselves come and they themselves take the person straight to Guru Sahib. No Dharamraj Kashari, no Lekha Jokha, nothing, no standing in line and so on. Guru Sahib themselves are the one who does the judgment. So Guru Sahib will see how much bhakti you have done. If your bhakti is not complete, you have not attained mukti, you have not attained Paramatma, liberation, Sahaj Avastha, then you will have to come back again into this world to continue doing your bhakti. So this is Guru Gobind Singh Ji's bachan as well. When we spoke about Amrit Sanskaar, Guru Sahib says that a Sikh who takes Amrit, keeps his case and his rahat, that Sikh, even if in their life they have not attained mukti or they have not get Paramatma, they will, when they die, they will never enter hell for 10,000 years. 10,000 saal vaste, that Sikh, that Gursikh will never go to hell. So that what happens is they'll keep taking birth in Gursikh's house, Sikhan de kar vich janam leke, continue their bhakti until they have reached mukti. So that is basically a promise that's made to us. Even when we have taken Amrit, doesn't mean that we are perfect, but it means that we are now way ahead and our journey is simplified, it's much easier. And let's say we cannot score mukti in this life, then we have at least 10,000 more years to practice and try again. Eventually, definitely between that period of time, we will get mukti. So this is our personal experience here in Malaysia. my husband and I, we know this Mataji, and the time of when this Mataji passed away, I was in the UK. So my husband tells me, he says that this Mataji that we know, she has done so much of seva. Her whole life, she has spent listening to the whole of Suraj Prakash Katha from the beginning of Nanak Prakash, from the beginning of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Katha, right up till Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Of course, it's not complete, but she has never once missed the Katha of Suraj Prakash. She would go to Gurdwara every week, even if she's not well or, you know, she's slow, she will go. And what happened was, when her time has come, she was in the hospital. She told her family she wouldn't want to eat, but Shradhani Shakadisi, and that's a sign when someone is about to leave, they don't feel like eating, they're just so quiet, and you know, they are basically letting go of a lot of things. And this Mataji who said that, "Main kuch nahi shakana, main kuch nahi karna, you know, I don't want anything." And what she had done was, she left her will, her property, her money, her savings, all to a Gurdwara that we used to do seva in. Everything was given to the Gurdwara, nothing to her family members and so on. So much seva she had done. The day she was about to die, she tells her family, "Ki mainu adda prashada de do." Adda prashada shak ke, she eats the prashada and she looks at the family and she says, "Theek hai, mainu singh lain aa gaya, Vaheguru ji ka khalsa, Vaheguru ji ki fateh." She lies down and she leaves. When I heard this story, honne bhi mere rongte khade hai. Because you see, the fact that she didn't even suffer, and she said, "Okay, mainu singh lehna aa gaya." You see this, and this is Sakhya happening now at this current times, where Shaheed Singhs are coming to take gursikhs and go, because why? They have done so much of bhakti in their life. So that's how we know that she has gone already, and she just left like that, you see. So now that same Gursikh now is asking Sant Baba Ishwar Singh Ji that how does Sachkhand look like? Because you see, Sangat Ji, when we die, you know, a lot of people ask, heaven and hell, kiya, are they permanent places? Heaven and hell are temporary places, you see. Ithe vi heaven and hell are sade vaste based on our life, but there's also a realm of heaven and hell when we die as well. Tusi changa kam kita, to see heaven jake changa pogo, you will enjoy whatever good karam you have done. You do bad karam, you have, even in Gurbani says, well, even you see, even the Chinese people, they believe this as well. There is this museum in Singapore that shows the 10 types of hell. And by Rama Singh Ji, if you read their pothi by Rama Singh Ji from Manmukh to Gurmukh, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਸੁਪਨਾ ਆਇਆ, ਉਹ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਸੀਗੇ, ਭਾਈ Rama Singh Ji was a Hindu. And because of Sukhmani Sahib Di Bani, he started becoming a Sikh. He took Amrit and he became a Gursikh. Bhai Rama Singh Ji had a dream before he took Amrit, and you know, when he was still practicing, that he died and Jamduta comes to him, takes him, and now he has to go to hell. And now he sees hell. That jere, those who are kami bande, those who are lustful, they see people with lustful eyes, or you know, they are very lustful. There's a certain punishment and there's certain torturing for them. Those who have committed murder or those who have hurt people, they go through a certain type of hell and they suffer and so on. And Bhai Rama Singh Ji draws these images in his book. There's these images, and these images are very similar to these museums that we see. So, of course, Narak is there where we will have to suffer as well. But these are temporary places. But for a Gursikh, heaven and hell is not important. What is important for us is Sachkhand Vasya Nirikar. As in Sachkhand jana hai. Sachkhand means the place of Paramatma. Paramatma, the Satan. So the Gursikh is asking, how is Sachkhand? And this Sant Baba Ishwar Singh Ji says ke Sachkhand de vich, just like how we see Darbar, how we come to Gurudwara and we sit in Darbar, there's Guru Granth Sahib Ji Sachkhand in front of us, and there's Sangat sitting, there's Kirtan going on, Ananda, Inna Ananda Bajadaya. Santaji says Sachkhand is just like that. Sachkhand is, you will see all the 10 Guru Sahiban di Jyot in front at Takhat Asthan, and all those De Mukta, Bide Mukta Gursikhs, those Gursikhs who are liberated, who are Mukta, they are sitting in the Sangat and there's Kirtan going on, there's Bhajan Bandgi going on. That is the Mahal in Sachkhand. And they're all in Atma Swarup. So all the Atma, remember we spoke about the Atma that goes and leaves back to Paramatma. All the Atma of those Gursikhs are sitting down there and they're enjoying Kirtan. So this is one book, Sangaji, that I would really recommend you to read about Bhai Rama Singh Ji's Jeevan, from Manmukh to Gurmukh. Both Gunya, especially for someone who's coming into Sikhi, is a very interesting book to read. So now let's go into the process of Antim Sanksaar. So Antim Sanksaar, there's a few steps here. Pehla, when we are approaching death, maut nere aa rahi hai, especially je thonu pata hai, you know, old people, buzurg ya, ja koi sade parivar de vichon ਹੁਣ ਜਾਣ ਲੱਗਿਆ, they're about to die. Moment of death, ਹੁਣ ਮੌਤ ਦਾ ਵੇਲਾ ਆ ਗਿਆ, ਜਾਂ at that moment ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਛੱਡਤਾ, ਸਵਾਸ ਛੱਡਤੇ, right after death, ਫਿਰ bathing the body, ਸਰੀਰ ਨੂੰ ਨਮਾਉਣਾ, ਤੇ cremation, ਸੰਸਕਾਰ ਕਰਨਾ, ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਨੂੰ ਆਉਣਾ, ਫੁੱਲ ਚੁੱਗਣਾ, ਫਿਰ 10 ਦਿਨ ਜਾਪ ਤਾਪ ਕਰਨਾ, ਸਹਿਜ ਪਾਠ ਧਰਨਾ, and then finally 10ਵੇਂ ਦਿਨ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਭੋਗ ਪਾਉਣਾ. So let's go to approaching death. So when death is nearing. So when someone is nearing their death, matlab maut aun wali hai, bande nu pata bimar ho ja old age de karke ja bimari de karke they are about to die. Of course, we are not thinking about accident and so on. That is on the spot, hai na? So if sanu pata kisi di maut hone wala, it's very important for us to read Gurbani and to do Naam Simran with them, hai na? Aasi jaake mahsoos nahi karna vi haye aaki hoga, or you know, we want to cry with them, because jera jinu maut aa rahi hai, the one who is about to die, that person is already having that fear. Je o gursikh niga, if that person is not a gursikh, a brahmgyani, that person will already have that fear that I'm about to die, I'm about to leave this world, what is going to happen to me? So at that point of time, sit with them and read Gurbani, read, you know, do some Simran, so that the person's dhyan, the person's mind is in Gurbani. Hana asra hunda hai vi hun mein Gurbani sun raha hai, I'm doing Naam Simran, this, you know, I'm feeling calm. Okay, so moments of death, the few moments before death can determine what kind of lifestyle or what kind of janam that person can go through as well. You see, this Shabad by Bhagat Trilochan ji, Antikal Shabad. Antikal jo mandar simre, aisi chinta mein jimre. Antikal Narayan simre, Antikal jo ladke simre. Bhagat ji speaks about Antikal de vele, je asi inna da simran karde hain. Simran matlab yaad karna kisi cheez. We constantly remember something, that's simran, hai na? If we, when we are about to die, we remember, oh, what's going to happen to my house? What's going to happen to my property? What's going to happen to my wealth? Hai na? Then what happens, that person will end up becoming a ghost and staying in the, and possessing the same wealth, property, or zameen and so on. If a person thinks about mere bacche, my children, you know, I'm leaving my wife, I'm leaving my children, then sukar jon walwal otare, the person will be born as a pig. But Antikal Narayan simre aise chinta mein jimre, Bhagat ji says, Badat Trilochan tir nar mukta, te nar mukta, pitambar jaake hriday vase. That Antikal moments, the end moments, if this person thinks about Vaheguru, Pitambar Jake Hriday Vase, that Gursikh, that person will now go straight and unite with Vaheguru. So it's important at the moments of death, you want the person to think about God, to think about Paramatma and nothing else. Okay? So now this is a first-hand witness of death by Bhai Rantir Singh Ji in their Pothi Andithi Dunya. So if you want to learn more about Sachkhand kiya, Jamdut kiya, Dharmaraj kiya, Maut kiya, heaven and hell kiya, if you're interested in this concept, one book I recommend you to read is Andithi Dunya by Bhai Rantir Singh Ji. Bahut goj gallan, a lot of secrets, a lot of like things that we never heard of, we question based on Gurbani. Bhai Sahab has explained everything. So this is Bhai Rantir Singh's cousin, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ Teg Singh. So Teg Singh, his whole life, he was just a normal person, amritari ni siga, shabab, you know, sharab, kebab, sara shakda si, pap, sara kuch karda siga. So he was suffering from tuberculosis, and when he was dying, means he has lied down bedridden now, bas swas hi gyan daya, he would scream, chikka mar gaya, be screaming, aa gaya, mainu maran lag gaya, mainu khaan lag gaya, they're eating me, they are, you know, they're killing me, they're torturing me, and he will look up in the ceiling and he's saying all of this. And his family will be wondering, why is he so scared? Why is he shouting? Why is he screaming? Te Paratir Singh ju pata lagya, and Paratir Singh ji then comes, and the moment he enters the room, Teg Singh goes, "Hi, Shanti Agi, they are gone. The moment you enter the room, they are gone. Please don't leave me." He tells Paratir Singh ji, "Please don't leave me." Oh, chale gaya ithon. So again, same thing that Gurbani says, "Jam lajaye kar paga." Jamdoots, they saw Paratir Singh ji because he's a gursikh. He's an Abhyasi gursikh. Jamdoots ran away. They cannot come there. So Paratir Singh then starts the jap of Sukhmani Sahib beside Teg Singh. Kante Sukhmani Sahib da jap kari gaya, and Teg Singh is quiet, he's shant, his breathing is normal, his eyes are closed and he's just listening. Sham da vela aaya, it was rarest time, and Paratir Singh ji had to go back home to do Samapti, Sukhasan Seva Guru Granth Sahib ji. And jado part of the Samapti kiti, and Paratir Singh ji was about to go out, then Teg Singh started shouting again, "Oh, aa gaya, they're coming, don't leave me, they are here, please don't leave me, don't go." And Paratir Singh ji then tells to his sister, "Ki you now continue doing Gurbani jap with him, don't leave him." So idda chali gaya, and then Paratir Singh ji realized that that Jamdoots are going to come and take him, because he did ardas, and Maharaj ne hukam na baksha and told the reality of his life, that one bhajan bandagi nahi kiti, kuch seva nahi kiti, his whole life has been wasted. So when the moment of death was coming, they did Panj part of Japji Sahib, 5 part of Japji Sahib, and throughout the whole jap, Teg Singh was shanta, his breathing was normal, he was not crying, he was not screaming, he was quiet. And when the 5th part of Japji Sahib ended, Teg Singh, his cousin, Sarir chhad gaya, swas khatam karke ohne Sarir chhad ditta. So that was how he left his body. So sometimes when a person is about to die, they know that my time has come. So when someone comes and tell you that, or someone, or you realize that, the best thing to do is not to worry about anything else, but to start doing Gurbani jap, start doing Naam Simran, because then we know our time is very limited. So what happened when the moment of death, matlab jado maut ho gaya, us vele parvar nu, if it's in a hospital, ja kare, ja kithe paase vi, or so on, it's very important for us to control our emotion. Because why? The person, you see, Paratir Singh ji de Gurbani jap, Teg Singh's dhyan was only in Gurbani, was only in the Bani being read. Par jaisi rowange, if we say na ja, no, don't go, don't go, don't go, then what are the thoughts going to be coming in that person's mind is, I cannot go, no, don't, I cannot go, I must stay back, no, I cannot go, Te o man shant niga, and he himself or she herself is not at peace. And how is that person going to leave this world at peace? Which means that the state of mind is already very chanchal, is already very stressed out, very anxious. Then the next janam is going to be something similar as well. If you keep saying, na jao, don't go, no, don't leave and all, then what if that same person comes back as a ghost and hunt you? Gurbani says this same thing as well. I can't remember the full pankti, but then he says, pret karpagi. The same wife that says that, no, my husband, my beloved and all, but when the husband dies, and when the husband comes back as a ghost, then she cries and she screams and says, ghost, 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 and she runs away because she is scared. So realize that this is a reality, that death is about to come. We ourselves must feel calm, and we can help the other person to feel calm as well. So in Ramkali Sad, Baba Sundar Singh ji recited this Bani when Guru Amar Das ji was going to leave this world. Sadgur Pane apne beh parvar sadaya, mat mein piche koi rovasi, so main mool na paya. So Guru Sahib says that this is Pana, this is Hukam. And Guru Sahib told the family, mat, please don't cry after I'm gone, okay? Because why? Then this will not make me happy, that you're crying and you're not accepting Pana. Of course, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. That's why you need family support. You need your friends' support around you when your loved one has left this world. So now what happens is right after death, the person has left this world. So if it's in the hospital and you have to sign the paperwork and everything and so on, bring the body. So now it's no longer brother, father, son, is bring the body, because on a sariri regya, to the house. Now, this depends on your country law as well. If let's say it needs to be investigated, or it's an accident, or it's a crime or something like that, they might have to do autopsy, or keep the body in the freezer room and so on, then then those things will have to take count as well. But in an ideal situation where everything is just normal, bring the body back to the house. So you do not want to leave the body for a very long time. Though it's much better to do sanskar as soon as possible as well. So when you have brought the body back home, what do? So you put the body on the manja, vashai, and so on. Now, it is ideally, again, advisable that do not have the body higher than kirtan. So if you're gonna be doing kirtan, maybe you can put the body on the floor. Or if you're gonna have a manji as well, then try to find certain ways where you do not do biadri of Gurbani as well, right? Because we have to understand Gurbani is still in a higher place than anything else. So again, if you need to keep the body in the I can't remember what room is there, but in the freezer in the hospital, try not to delay as much as you can. Okay, the best is to do sanskar within a day or two, right? And so read Gurbani when the body comes home. You have brought the body home. You have call a kirtani jatha and start doing kirtan or Gurbani jap, Sukhmani Sada jap, Japji Sahib da path karo, ja kirtan karo, as the family members, your friends are coming to pay their last respect. Because why? At that time, we don't want people coming in and hai aaki ho gaya, mara pitna nahi. All that is not acceptable in Sikhi, hai na? So when the person comes to the house to pay their last respect, at least they are listening to kirtan and Gurbani and path and so on. All right? So, jinne time tusi karna is completely up to you. Now, bathing the body. So, tusi sarinu kare lianda, you have brought the body home, right? So now, if it's an amritari gursikh, means rahat bahat gursikh, you must make sure that the panjakakar is always on their body. So some people will ask, be a normal person who is not an amritari pass away, onanu vi karpan padan dia, kashera padan dia, kanga te, and so on. The question is, maut de vele kyon, when they were alive, they didn't wear the panchkakar, right? So that is not the rahat that they have kept when they were alive. And it doesn't mean that when you put all the kakar on their body after they have died, that Guru Sahib is going to suddenly, oh, you're wearing a karpan, or you must be an amritari, but their whole life they were sharabi kababi. So, e pakhanda na karo. How they have lived in their world, in this world, right? So an amritari gursikh who has had panch kakar rahat, you must make sure that the kakar is always on their body as well when you're gonna do ishnan of the body. Okay, so how to do the ishnan of the body? So rahatnama Pai Daya Singh Ji. This is Pai Daya Singh Ji. Pehle pyare Sikh mrit hoye. If a Sikh passes away, to kach pehra kar, wear them kashera, make sure with kashera, ishnan karakar, do the ishnan of the body, dastar sajakar, make sure there's dastar on their head. Us samay japji padta rahe. So while you are doing ishnan of the body, ki karna chahida, galla nahi karne, and so on, japji sada part karna. So you start Japji Sahib part. So as long as the Japji Sahib part is going on, you do ishnan of the body. Kashera must be on, karpan maybe on the dastar, and then kanga and so on. So when you're going to do ishnan from the top or from the half or pura sarira ishnan karna, you must make sure that when you take out the kashera, ekka poncha gilla poncha lake, put out the dry one, then take out the other gilla poncha, the wet one, and put the dry kashera again. Of course, for men only will bathe the body, but if a bibi passes away, then ladies will bathe the body. So ensure that the head is covered at all times. Even if a normal Sikh, not an amritari, also make sure that their head is also covered at all times, right? So a new set of chola, bana, suit, or kurta pajama, o pao, dastar or keski or patka or whatever, or dupatta, o pao, gatra, karpan, o pao. Yeah, okay. So also make sure don't cover the face of the deceased person. We don't want to cover their face must be seen. So honna ishnan kar liya, and now the body is there. Now the day of sanskar has come. So again, tusi kare honge, many a times it will be in your house, your friends and family are coming to pay their respect. Same thing, make sure that you do kirtan, Gurbani, jap throughout. As people are coming, je kelo, tusi savere shuru kita, and then shamnu saskara. So throughout the whole time, you must do Gurbani jap or kirtan. So saskar, Maryada might be different based on the country you're staying in. Certain countries, they don't allow Agni Sanskaar, means where you burn the body with an open fire because of, pollution or their environmental law. Certain countries, they allow, and certain countries, they have the machine where you just push the button, push the body in, and the fire will burn the body in the machine. So it depends. Doesn't matter as long as Agni Sanskar is done. Asi body nu bury ni karde, we don't bury bodies like the Muslims, we burn the bodies, because why? We don't believe in having tomb or nishani of the person who has left. Okay, so now honor to see Sanskar Shamshan Bhumi nu jana ya. Before you go, you must do an ardas to Guru Sahib to ask for agya ki sache Paatshah, this person has lived their whole life, whatever papa, punna this person has done, whatever mistakes this person has done, please forgive them, bless them, and be their sahayak, means support them in their next journey. Okay, so let's say that you are in a Gurdwara, then do the ardas in front of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, but the ardas can also be done at home. Je tusi siddha karo Shamshan Bhumi nu jana, if you're going to go to the Shamshan Bhumi straight from your home, you can do the ardas at home. But many a times in the prane, like back in the days, from the house, they will go to the Gurdwara first. Baro, outside of the Gurdwara, they don't bring the body in. Outside of the Gurdwara, they'll do ardas. And the final, they say that final matha take or final respect of the person who has died to Guru Sahib in the Gurdwara. From there, then they go to Shamshan Bhumi. So honor to see Shamshan Bhumi pahunch gaye, and the lakdi, everything is tiyar already. So what happens, and make sure that part mool mantar jap, gur mantar jap is going on. Jado tusi sareer nu chak ke lakdan te pauna ja machine vich rakhna ya, make sure mool mantar jap is going on, and so on. Now, as the lakad, or you're about to push the body in, or you're about to burn the body, before you do that, make sure you do Japji Sahib da Paath. So make sure the sareer, you do not put it on the ground. Thalle ni punne ni rakhna, matlab on background. Okay, make sure it's on the lakad. All right. So when you're about to do sanskar, make sure that to see rituals, practices such as matki torna, pande torne, rona, pitna, chikka marnya, or hitting yourself, screaming, wailing, breaking the pots, and so on. All this is not Sikhi, is not Gurmat. Okay, so you have put the body on the chikha, on the lakda. What you have done now, as the lakda are being put, or you have already placed the body on the machine, the metal about to go in, do the Japji Sahib part. Now, Japji Sahib part should be done not at the feet of, not standing at the feet side of the body, but at the head side. So why? Because also satkar of Gurbani as well. So as maybe if you're surrounding the body, it's also fine. Tusi sare sangat othe jere honge kathe tusi Japji Sahib da part uchi dene karo. Do the Japji Sahib part as loud as you can. So the the atma, the body is also going to enjoy, will get laha of that bani as well. So now, as Japji Sahib part is being done, you can also put the lakada together at the same time. Tusi baad cha bhi paune o bhi theek hai, ja pehla pa ke fir khad ke Japji Sahib part karna bhi theek hai. So tusi kyo, make sure no tel, nothing but kyo. So the kyo, spread it around the body, especially on the hard lakada, hard bones like your head, the skull, the danda, the teeth, hadda, like the pelvic area, the ribs and all, the strong bones. Make sure to put more kyo on that area of the body. And then you can also use attar. If you want to use attar, you can shirka attar as well if you want. And so what happens is, back in the days, they will always, like for Guru Granth Sahib Ji's Agan Pet Seva, they will use Chandan de Lakkad. sandalwood lakkar, which is very expensive wood. But of course, for normal human beings, we just use normal wood. So make sure, even if it's electric or gas burning chamber, means the machine one, you have to put QO as well. Okay. So now everything is ready. Jab jisa the part bhi ho gaya. Before putting the fire, aglon, from the, before lighting up the chikha, or before pushing the button in to go for the body to go in the machine, make sure you do an ardas again. So this is the final ardas, है ना? कि सच्चे पातशाह हुन ए शरीर ए फलाना सिंह जां कौर अपनी आखिरी जिंदगी स्वासां दी पूंजी खत्म करके दुनिया ते अपने जो कर्म कीते whatever कर्म that this person has done, please ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਚਿਤਾਰਨਾ. Whatever bani kirtan job that we had done, all of that goes into the account of this person. So this person, whatever, even if his whole life or her whole life had never done job, had never done bani bhakti, but at least those few days, whatever kirtan, jap, path that was done, we do ardas, ke all of that goes to the choli, to the account of the person who has died. Okay, so now ardas is done. Jakara chadke, then you light the chikha or you push the body into the machine. So as that is done already, hona jodo tusi, when the body is burning or ja machine cha tusi, gas chamber cha body nu pejta, then you should do soila sab di bani. So you must do soila sab da patha once you have already burned, not completely burned, but jodo tusi sanskar shuru karta, odo fir tusi soila sab di bani vi padyo. Okay, so soila sab da bani you tusi pad liya, sanskar is ongoing, soila sab bani is already done. Now all the sangat, whoever is there, the family, friends, relatives, must go to the Gurdwara. So all go to Gurdwara. Now, normally, even in Gurdwara, back in the days, they'll do Ishnan in the Gurdwara. But now is we have to go home and do Ishnan. If you cannot do full Ishnan, which is recommended because we just came back from Sanskaar, then the minimum is to do Panj Ishnana. Panj Ishnan means you must wash your face, wash your hands, your legs, before going to Darbar Sahib. Very, very important. So have your Ishnan, go to the Gurdwara. So when you go to Gurdwara, Gyaniji must prepare Kada Prashad. The Gyaniji, the Granthi Singh, will now read this Baniya, which is meant for Antim Sanksaar. So the Baniya I've written here in the slides. So Rag Vadhans Mahalla Pehla Kar Panjwa Alaniya da Path. So Gyaniji will know this. Alani da Path. This Shabad Diva Mera Ek Naam Dukh Vich Paya Tel. Suhi Mahalla Panjwa Karam Taram Pakhan Jo Dis Hai. Tin Jam Jagati Lute. And then Maru Mahalla Panjwa Khulya Karam Kripa Pe Thakur Kirtan Har Har Gai. So this Shabad Gain Karke, Shabad da Path Karke, Alani da Path Karke, then you will do an Ananda Sahib and Ardas and ask Maharaj Agya to start a Sahaj Path. Hona, je tusi Sahaj Path nahi tar sakde, matlab, your family or tusi baro or your family is only there for a few days, you can also do an Akhanda Path. So if you want to do a Akhanda Path, then the best thing is you must at least go home, have full Ishnan, then your whole family goes to the Gurdwara and then do this whole process. Okay, so if you're going to do Sahaj Path, then you can start a Sahaj Path there and there as well. The Sahaj Path je tusi kare vi karna. Let's say now you want to, instead of doing a Sahaj Path in Gurdwara or Akhanda Path in Gurdwara, you want to have it at home. It's also possible as well. Okay, so Sahaj Path tarta kada prashad shak ke tusi kare aajo. Now Sahaj Path should be completed within 10 days. 10 dina de vich Sahaj Path should be completed. Not long to see, you don't want to have it dragged for very long, right? Je Akhand Path karoge ta o 3 dina de vich samapti ho jani hai. So now, normally Sanskaar to baad, after Sanskaar, maybe the next day or 2 days later, you will do Pholochogana. So Pholochogana basically is when you collect the ashes of the person, the Sanskaar of the person that was done. So now, when you're collecting the ashes, what do? Maybe your family members will go. So at that time, again, recite Japji Sada Patha. Then you can do Simran, Mool Mantar Jap as you're collecting the ashes. Hona every ritual shuru ho gaya. There's this ritual for Nishani where if certain things in the ashes doesn't from the body doesn't burn, for example, anika or like kada or like certain bones, maybe haddi completely didn't burn, the family members takes it back. No, there's no such thing. Okay, so whatever it is burnt or unburned, everything has to be collected, put in a kapda, banke, and all. Everything has to be dispersed or done. Sanskaar means you will have to throw it in the flowing water, in the river or in the ocean and so on. Okay, kare wapas nahi leke jana. You're not going to put the ashes in a pot and keep it at home as a memory. Nahi. Everything, even the ashes, then you just throw it in the flowing water or in the river, in the ocean. Certain countries, again, law de mutabak, sometimes you cannot do that because environmental law. Then what you can do is, because they are ashes, again, is just mitti, you can just bury them somewhere, you know, but make sure that where you're going to bury the ashes and all, make sure, please don't erect a tomb or a yadgari or a nishani, we ete another ashes. There's no such thing. Okay, only certain, if you cannot do jal parwa, then you can just bury those ashes. Kare nahi rakhne. Okay, so now phul chugna ho gaya, jal parwa ho gaya. So sach part tusi kar rahe hain. Hun sach part tarta, and part da pog must be done on by the 10th day after the sanskar, after the Antim Sanksaar is done. So if you cannot do sach part, thode kole time hai nahi, ja parvar, you know, everybody has to go back to different countries or so on. There's some complication. You can do a khanda part as well. So 10 dina de vich. Now, it's because why 10 days? This is a crucial period. You are feeling the loss of your loved ones. You feel empty. Maybe your husband or a child or your parents, somebody has passed away and you're feeling very lonely and sad. Now, it is advisable that you should not be alone during these days. Have sangat come to your house. So based on Rahat Maryada, these things are recommended. During the 10 days, you should have daily katha of Jat Sri Ki War and Slok Sahaskriti. Now, Jat Sri Ki War and Slok Sahaskriti, these Baniya helps us to look at reality of life. Guru Sahib, Guru Arjan Dev Ji, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they speak about reality of life and tells us, and it's a lot of realization and eye-opening Bani, right? So how, if you want to complete in 10 days, Jat Sri Ki War, 2 sloks in a day, Sahaskriti slok, 6 slok in a day. If katha is not possible, you don't have Gyani ji or no one to do katha, it's fine. You can have daily recitation of those bani. If nobody can even read those bani, then the bare minimum you can do is have kirtan or have Rera Sai part in the evening, have a kirtan, ekado shabad, and at least then you can just do smapti, have langar, and people can go back. Why are we doing this? It's so that sangat come to your house, not to do masos, so we hai aaki ho gaya, bahut mara hoya, nahi. But the sangat who comes to the house gives hausla vi koi na, is sachai ya, dunya di sachai ya, jo aaya so chal si. We are here for you, So this is a reminder for us. We asa vi utthe jana. We are also going to go one day. So asi apni zindagi sudhariye. Now, another book I would highly recommend to read is Sat Aukhiyan Raataan by Bhai Veer Singh Ji. Sat Aukhiyan Raataan, it's in Gurmukhi, but there is now translation done. There's audio as well, done by Sikh translation. You can find on Instagram. That what has happened now is that Bhai Veer Singh Ji is telling the story of Mata Jitto Ji's mother. Mata Jitto Ji's mother, Mai Sabrai Ji, who is the mother-in-law of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And what she goes through is 7 days of her life, not subsequently, but 7 different days of her life where she experiences death and she experiences loneliness, anxiety, even depression as well, questioning herself, why did he... First night, her husband dies. Then on a second night, her daughter passes away. Mata Jittoji passes away. Then she hears about the family leaving Anandapur Sahib. Then she hears Shahidi of the Vadde Sahibzade. Then Chauthe Raat, the fifth night, Shahidi of Chote Sahibzade. Then the sixth night, she hears Guru Gobind Singh Ji also Jyoti Jyot Samagiri. And the seventh night is she herself now is going to leave this world. So it's very interesting because why? The conversation in the book is about her state of mind, the conversation she has with herself, and how Sangat comes to give her support. So it's very important during these days to have Sangat support. Okay? So on the 10th day, the final day, now you have Sach Partha Poga, or you have a Khanda Part Poga. Either way, recite after Partha Poga, the Gyaniji must read Ramkali Saddabani, which was by Baba Sundarji, which is in Anga 923. So after reading Ramkali Saddabani, then you have Ananda Sahib, Ardas, and Kara Prasad. Now this then marks the end of the whole Antim Sanksaar already. So after the 10th day now, it's completely up to you. But basically, that's when now everybody will start going back, and you will start going back to your normal routine. And you have now accepted the fact that this person has now gone from this world, and you're going to accept that hukam, that reality. So, of course, this is again in the ideal scenario where everything is fine. I'm not saying ideal means when somebody passes away, but ideal in the case that you have the support there and there's no complication. It's not like where you have to do autopsy, or you have to wait for the body to be released by the police or by the hospital and so on. But either way, even if there is a delay, you should try to follow the procedure as much as you can. So again, there are many aspects that we might not have covered. So like organ donation, or, in terms of like a lot of things like, so many aspects are not covered, but they are open to discussion as well. So of course, in the near future, we'll have more discussions on these kind of topics as well, right? So thank you so much for joining this Antim Sanksaar workshop. This marks the end of all our Panj Sanskaar series, where we have spoken about from Janam Sanskaar, Vidya Sanskaar, Amrit Sanskaar, Anandakara Sanskaar, and now Antim Sanksaar. So this Panj Sanskaar is very important for a Sikh's life, because when we follow the Maryada given by Guru Gobind Singh Ji, by the Gursikhs in the Ratnama, it helps us to get closer to Vaheguru. It helps us to make our life easier and to accept hukam of Vaheguru as well. So Pula Chukan Dikhima, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.